Hello, good afternoon, welcome. Friday the 17th of April, hope you're all good. Foot Down Friday, as it was affectionately known back in the day, but more like I'm working from home, but I'm going out for the day and clog up the roads Friday. Anyway, yeah, so on that sort of subject of modern stuff, social media was going to be my topic to start with today. Being an old git now of 62, being brought up in the 70s and the 80s, we had no such thing as social media, of course, and if you wanted to talk to a girl, you had to go and talk to her. None of this swiping left, swiping right and DMing and whatever else people deem to do these days. But when social media arrived and it sort of started for, well, Friends Reunited was the first one, who remembers that? I sort of tried to embrace it. I found Facebook and Twitter, didn't bother with Instagram, but yeah, I found them good tools, enjoyable tools. Then when I sort of left being a taxi driver and went over to football, not so much when I was at West Ham, but certainly when I was at Arsenal, I almost had to come away from social media. It was written in my contract. I had to be extremely careful what I said or what I showed. Most of the players at football clubs, they don't deal with their own social media. Their agent or they have a media person they employ to sort of do it for them. I didn't have to worry about that, but when I was, for example, on Twitter, you're just inundated with requests for kit, and if your team loses, unbelievable, people seem to think I had something to do with it and getting all sorts of stick about this person didn't play very well. But anyway, so I sort of came away from it, and then when I came into this industry, I sort of started it back up again. And I love TikTok. I don't post anything, but I could sit and watch TikTok all day long. And Twitter I read, and obviously Facebook, because I've mentioned it a few times this week. And what I don't do anymore is I try not to get embroiled in any social media arguments. And I had to sort of fight back from getting involved in one yesterday. There was a post. It was the normal discussion, lack of work, lack of money, normal thing. Guy posted on there that he had bid for 11 jobs in one day and he had won 8 of the jobs, which he'd all completed at an average of £2.87 plus VAT per mile. Now, my immediate question I posed to him was, how many vans are you running, stupidly? And because he came back eventually and said, no, just one. Now, for those of you who are not already driving vans and perhaps thinking about joining the industry, trying to do 8 jobs in a day on CX, I would pretty much say impossible. In all the time I've followed the video exploits of people initially like Pete the Courier, Didi, and then the modern day ones like myself, Delivery Man and Saints Man and Anvil Logistics, etc. I don't know anyone that's done 8 jobs. Personally myself, 4 is the best I've ever done. And as you know, I do like an early start, but I do also like an early finish. So I guess 5 probably could be at a push, and maybe even 6 if you really had a right result. So I didn't bite back. I was tempted to bite back and say to this bloke, quite obviously, you're co-loaded. You must be. It's the only way you could probably do 8 jobs. For example, if he's in Birmingham, he's managed to do 3 pickups, one going to, say, Leicester, then going on to Lincoln, and then heading up to Leeds, and that would get 3 of your jobs done. And because you're getting paid for all of those jobs, it gets your pence per mile up to that £2.87. And of course, these are the things that are causing the problems on the CX. First of all, the shippers, very few shippers want you to co-load. Some will allow you, and some will allow you if you ask, but the majority don't want you to co-load. It's a hot shot, it's a direct delivery. Of course, by doing 3 jobs like that, there's 2 drivers that are sitting there doing nothing. And I mentioned yesterday that CX were trying to do something about it, and lo and behold, magic of somebody must be watching, or perhaps it's just a general send out. But I got a text message this morning from CX with a link offering me would I like to go to their meeting, which is on Wednesday the 3rd of June. If you then look at the itinerary for the evening, it's in Milton Keynes, central in the UK. Well done, that's good. it actually sort of says what they're going to talk about, and tightening up drivers and small fleets is going to be one of those. I wouldn't normally bother. I'm actually quite tempted. I've got to have a look in my diary when I get home, see if there's anything else on that day, and I'll see if I can have a word with the missus and treat myself to a night and an evening in Milton Keynes in June, and then sort of report back what it's all about, because it's quite intriguing. But yeah, anyway, that's that. On to today. Now, I've informed you quite a few times over the last week that I was given a job for this morning to go from Braintree over to Hereford. Job that I've done probably 4 or 5 times, I think now. So I know I can't pick up till 8 o'clock in the morning. So I arrived at 10 to 8, and I'm 7:59. I'm standing outside the transport window for when the shutter goes up at 8 o'clock. Gave him a reference number, and the bloke said to me, "Oh, it's cancelled, mate. Cancelled that yesterday." He went and had a look at his computer. I asked him a few questions about who he'd spoken to and blah blah blah, which he did tell me. Back to the van, quick phone call to the shipper. The bloke who answered the phone was as surprised as I was. He said, "Give me 5 minutes, I'll call you back." And he did call me back, and yes, absolutely right, it had been cancelled, and somebody hadn't told somebody. So we then come to the cancellation charge. Now, I've heard people in the past and seen people in the past say that they would ask for 100% of the fare. I think some will also ask for 50% of the fare. And with this, with me, I've got in my terms and conditions. It's £30 if I'm en route, £40 if I'm on site. This was all done and dusted by 10 past 8. They asked me what I wanted, and obviously I can't go against my terms and conditions because that's what's there in writing. So £40 is what I asked for, and £40 is what they paid. I suppose I might need to think about that. Perhaps I could put in there on site 50%, but 50% of a £200 fare would be £100. If I was a shipper and I had to pay that, I would pay it, but I don't think I'd ever use me again. And it's got me thinking that maybe, because when we look at, as a driver, when we look at a job, some of the companies do have their terms and conditions down for handballing, waiting time and cancellation. And I think it should be a factor, because say for example, company says that, and some have, that they're only going to pay £20 cancellation. I probably won't want to risk doing that job, especially if I've run quite a distance to go and pick it up. Because we look at the poster's job offer first, that trumps any terms and conditions we have if the shipper is to offer the job to us. So I think maybe to get around any awkwardness, maybe shippers need to post what their cancellation charge is, both en route and also when you're on site. Anyway, that's done. I'm not going to cry over it. Stayed on site. There's plenty of parking now, so started having a look for another job. And I got one at 8:30, and that was from Haverhill, 40 minutes away. That was a small van job going to Basildon in Essex, 63 miles in total. I sort of wanted to get going, so I put a price of £70 on it, and I got a phone call straight away. Made my way up to Haverhill, got there for about 10 past 9, and was off site at 9:30. That's fine. Straight drive down to Basildon. It is 63 miles, but it's just that road. I can't remember the name of the road now. Goes out to the A11 and just down the A11, M11, M25, 127 to Basildon. Got on site at 10:45 and I'm off site at 10:55. So that's good. Looked for a second job. Amazingly, bearing in mind how things tend to be going lately, I got a job instantly. Job 10 minutes away in Basildon, going to Bishop Stortford. I was 10 minutes away, empty, so I put a quick price on that. I thought I'm going to go £50. It's a small van job, 32 miles, so I thought £50 was fair. Get another job in quickly, could probably try and get that done before almost before lunch. Got the job straight away, round to the collection point for 10 past 11. And then it went all a bit Pete Tong. Drove into the yard. There was a truck that was just finished being loaded, and as I reversed down into the yard, another 2 vans followed me. Bit of conversation with the guys in the yard who were fine, absolutely fine. They said, like, we need to finish this truck first. We're going to be 10-15 minutes for that, and then we'll sort you guys out. My stuff they didn't know anything about. One of the guys in the other van was unloading, so they said they would do him next, and the other van was also picking up, but his stuff was sitting there ready to go. So we all drove back out the yard. The one unloading came back in, and then after about 15-20 minutes he came out and the lorry came out. The other guy went in and got loaded. He was away in about 10 minutes, and then I reversed in to find out that my stuff still wasn't ready. Cut a very long story short, I finally got off site at 12:25, an hour and 15 minutes later. Had kept the shipper involved. They knew what was happening. And this is again where it got a little bit interesting. At the end of it, I rang them up. I said I've been on site for 1 hour and 15 minutes. My terms and conditions are 30 minutes free. After that, it's £7.50 per 15 minutes, £30 an hour. So I was claiming £22.50. They didn't seem to think that was going to be a problem. The other thing was, the job was a small wheelbase job. Now, I every day is a school day, so perhaps I've been educated. I had 2 pallets with metalwork on, and the metalwork was over the top of the pallet. So each pallet in the end was 1.5 by 1.2 by what negligible height, half a metre. So I'm thinking then that now 3 metres of my floor is filled. That becomes a large van, long wheelbase job, I thought. So when speaking to the shipper, we were having a discussion about did I want extra money, and I said, well, yeah. And again, I'm quite reasonable, probably too reasonable for my own good, but I asked for another £20. So he said, okay, let me go away. I need to talk to my boss, and I just need to talk to the customer. We agreed that there's no problems, but I'm going to get on and go and get this stuff delivered, and he'll ring me back, which he did. He rang me about 20 minutes later. No problems with a £22.50 waiting time, but there was a problem with the extra money I wanted for the bigger vehicle. The customer and also the shipper both believed that these pallets would fit on a small wheelbase van, 3 metres long. I wasn't convinced. I think, having sort of googled it now, I'm probably wrong. You can get small wheelbase that take 3 metres, but hey ho, every day is a school day, as I say. We didn't want to fall out over it. It's a regular shipper that I work for, and we agreed at £10. But I'm still sort of scratching my head a little bit whether I've been had over or not. I don't know. So anyway, I got £50 for that, plus £10, 60, and a £22.50 made that up to £82.50. Made my way up to Bishop Stortford. I thought we might have a bit of issue getting this offloaded, but the guy was brilliant with the forklift. We got it both off without any damage to the van, and absolutely fine. So I arrived at 1:30 and off site 20 to 2. I'd not really had a break. Well, I had a break while I was waiting, but I'd not had any lunch. So parked up and had my lunch. Started looking at it again about 2:15. There were some jobs around. They weren't going to areas I really wanted to go. Couple of jobs into London. One with a fixed price of £60 to North London, outside the congestion zone. The other one was Central London, and there was a few other jobs going here, there. A few over to the airport at Heathrow. I don't really want to do that on a Friday afternoon. Been a strange old day, and I think probably truthfully I'd had enough. I've hung around till 3:30. Put some bits on for jobs for Monday, which I've won a job for Monday now, so that's good. Got to 3:30, I've given it up. I'm going to go home. I finished up today with 70, 50 and the £82.50. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Sorry, that's wrong. Sorry, that's 40, 70 and 82.50. So I've got 192.50, which is pretty similar to what I was going to get if I was doing the Hereford, but I would have done a lot more mileage, burned a lot more fuel, wear and tear. and obviously being home later. I've also had a phone call that the Hereford job that I was going to do is now probably going to be Wednesday next week. Would I like to do it? And I've said yes. Yeah, I'll still do it anyway. It might be a better day to do it on a Wednesday rather than a Friday from a work point of view. So that's me done. I'm on my way home now. I should be home for about 5 o'clock. I'm going to treat myself to a nice cup of tea and a walk, I think, and enjoy and relax the weekend. I hope you've had a busy day and a good day and a good week. And we'll go again on Monday and see what the new week brings to us. Have a lovely weekend. Take care. All the best. Paul.